Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race C Race and Strategy Guide. We are heading to Italy, Sardegna Road Track A in particular, and after an excursion out in the Mazda Roadster touring car last week, we are in much more familiar territory in terms of car category for Daily Race C, as we are once again in the Group 4 machinery. And unlike the last 3 times we've been in the Group 4 machinery in Daily Race C, this one is not a fuel saver, you will be pleased to hear. We have 10 laps to get around, tyre wear at times 7, fuel at times 2, we have the soft and the medium racing compounds both available, both of which are going to be mandatory to be running this race. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start, and slipstream is real. So definitely the prospect for some strategy in this one, unlike the fuel saving shenanigans we've had in the more recent Group 4 Daily Race C races. So let's move on to talk about car choice for this one. Now, our test car is going to be the Nissan GTR. Now, I'm pretty sure after driving this car and doing a few other bits and bobs of research that this is not going to be the quickest car around here. But what it will do is provide a pretty decent test bed for the tyre wear, because the GTR is, well, she's a big old heavy car, so she is. She's actually, pulling around about 300 kilograms more than something like the Alpha 155, which is definitely going to be a very strong car around this combination this week. But the good thing about testing in Nissan GTR is that basically, however bad the tyre wear gets on this car, it's probably not going to be any worse in any other car. It'll probably actually be better. So if we can get 6 laps out of the Nissan GTR, then we should be able to get 7-8 laps out of something like the Alpha, because it is so much lighter. And yeah, weight is a huge factor in tyre wear on Gran Turismo 7. So the lighter the car is, the far less tyre wear it is most likely to have, certainly in my experience anyway. It does, I don't know, I haven't been able to test a massive amount of cars in this one, but it's hard not to see the 4-wheel drives at the very least being strong in this one. It's quite a lot of traction zones out there. That's where the 4-wheel drives are very strong. That kind of slow speed traction zones, you just manage. Obviously, the 4-wheel drive to put the power down, and that acceleration on these cars can often be the reason why they are so strong, and sometimes the strongest cars around many tracks. But hopefully some other cars will come to the fore, like the Jaguar, the Ferrari, the Hyundai Genesis, who knows. I always live in hope that, when we go into a Group 4 race, that I will be surprised by the variety of cars that we can use. But that's enough about the cars, let's move on to the strategy. The first thing we're going to look at is the soft tyre life, and just how many laps we're going to be able to get out of a set of soft tyres, and also at what point a fresh set of mediums would actually appear to be better than a worn set of soft tyres. So in terms of the life you're going to get out the soft tyres, you're looking at 6 to 8 laps in the GTR anyway. It's also very much of this depends on your driving style, whether you're on the pad or the wheel. So I always kind of try to consider the pad players when I am making these strategy guides. We can get 8 laps out of the GTR without too many problems on the wheel. But if you're a pad player and you've maybe got a much more abrasive driving style, it's probably going to be something like 6 laps. So yeah, if you're starting on the soft tyres, you're looking at 6 to 8 laps kind of tyre life for the majority of cars. I do believe something like the Alpha and the Renault Megane Trophy could probably quite easily do 9 laps, because they basically are carrying so much less weight than just about every other car in the category. So we're actually going to pit here at the end of lap 7, because this is where I believe the optimal time to change the tyres is actually at. So that optimal time is obviously at what point are you going to be quicker on a fresh set of medium tyres compared to your worn soft tyres, and for me it's going to be lap 7 for most people. Now, we will look at the medium tyres very, very shortly, because they are nowhere near as off the pace as I thought they might be. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the pit loss, because you're going to have to make a pit stop here. The pit loss in this one actually is surprisingly long. Given the nature of the pit lane, I thought it would be a little bit shorter. Nothing to worry about in terms of the white lines on the entrance and the entry, but do be careful as you exit the pits. I don't think you'll have to worry about what happened to me here against the AI cars, but you will be coming out at a significantly slower speed than cars who are not coming out the pits. And as you come down into turn 1 here, yeah, just be aware of that differential in speed. In terms of pit loss, you're looking at 27 seconds, so yeah, a fair chunk of time to lose in the pits, but it does mean that if you make an early pit stop from the mediums onto the softs, then you shouldn't fall too far behind, you should fall quite far behind the rest of the pack into clean air instead of coming out towards the tail end of the stragglers. So yeah, a long pit loss sometimes does actually have its advantages. So obviously we got knocked round in a circle by the AI cars there, so we couldn't quite test the medium tyre performance, so we jumped back out and we kind of just got an idea as into what type of lap time and where that kind of crossover lap would be between the mediums and the softs. So you're probably not going to be doing more than 4 laps on the medium tyres, even if you are absolutely horrendous on tyre wear and you're on the pad. So 4 laps would be the maximum I would really see anybody doing on the medium tyres. They're only about 0.7, 0.8 of a lap, say slower than the soft tyres. So that, you know, they're not too bad at all. And I think in the nature of this track, if you're kind of in the slipstream of another car, given the very long straight on the main straight and the back straight, then it could be possible to actually hold on to a soft runner on the medium tyres. But yeah, for some reason at this track, the differential between the softs and the mediums is nowhere near as it seems to be at many other tracks. So we've looked at the soft tyres, we've looked at the medium tyres, we've looked at the pit loss. Let's move on to talk about the strategy. So I never put it on the screen here, but obviously everybody's going to be doing a one stop. So optimal strategies, if you start in the soft tyres, you're looking at 6 to 7 laps, and then you move on to the mediums for 3 to 4 laps. Obviously pad players I'm considering maybe 6 laps, wheel players probably 7 laps. If you start on the medium tyres, then definitely don't do any more than 3 laps. Do 3 laps on the medium tyres, then move on to the soft tyres if you're looking to do the optimal strategy. Obviously this is more easy to kind of do from the front of the grid, and it is the strategy that will give you the most consistent tyre performance. The optimal strategy is the optimal strategy because it's kind of looking at, you know, the quickest way to do the race, and the quickest way to do the race is to not really have your race affected by other drivers. So if you're looking for the absolute optimal strategy in terms of performance of the tyres, then this is what you should be considering. If you're starting in the middle of the pack or towards the rear of the pack, then you're going to be considering the undercut strategy. So for that, you're going to start on the medium tyres. You're only going to do 1 or 2 laps on the medium tyres, and then you're going to move on to the softs. Now, certainly something like the Alpha can easily, well not easily, but can certainly do 9 laps on the soft tyres. I think I could do 9 laps on the soft tyres in the GTR, to be honest with you, but it's going to be easier in something like the Alpha because it's so much lighter. I think, you know, a lot of drivers out there might not be too comfortable doing 9 laps on the soft tyres, but if you are going to do the undercut, pit on lap 2, don't go any further than that. You are looking to get that jump on the cars around you, get an extra lap on the soft tyres, get the track position, and then worry about that tyre wear towards the end. But that's pretty much it in regards to strategy. A fairly fun racing prospect if you ask me. Unfortunately it may well be blighted by everybody ending up in the Alpha 155. I know we've used the GTR here, but yeah, I think what you can learn in this car is relevant to pretty much any car as well, because we're not really kind of looking to find out what car's the quickest, we're just looking to find out what the strategy is going to be. But let's finish off the video with a lap guide in this Nissan GTR. Anyway, heading down towards turn number 1, 100 metre board is your friend. Move the car over to the blue part of the curb to get the best entrance for the left hand corner. A little bit of camber in there as well, try to get the car in there. Be careful of these fin curbs as well, they can just kind of catch the car in a funny way and drag you off the track. 50 metre board as we go into the fast left right sequence. Down into 4th gear, try to keep the car over to the left hand side of the track, so a little bit balancing the car, getting the weight transfer correct as you throw the car into the right hand part of the corner. When you get it right, it just feels so right, but it's easy to get a big lock of understeer there. The blue boards on the left hand side of the track, you're looking for the second to last one. Flirt of danger on the wall there, the closing into that wall, the airline on the throttle, you carry that speed all the way down the meandering back straight. It's not really a straight, you've got to be very careful with your lines here. People sometimes try and sneak the car up the inside up against that wall, can cause a little bit of confusion. This is the dive bomber's paradise. The 100 metre board or just before the 100 metre board. The better you can get into that apex up against that wall will save you a couple of attempts. You can get on the throttle a little bit earlier. Don't go side by side with another car down through this part of the track. It will end in disaster as we come to the trickiest corner on the track. It's the fast left hand. You look for the end of the grey curb on the right hand side, drop it a gear, throw it in and hope the car sticks. The closer you get to that barrier, the quicker you will come through that corner, and it is very important for lap time. The second to last corner, or really the last proper corner on the track, 100 metre board, very similar to the previous big braking zone, the dive bomb zone. Expect to get dive bombed there a few times as well. But yeah, the closer you get the car into the wall, get the tyres on the little inside curve, the better you get on the throttle. You carry that speed all the way down through the last corner, all the way down the start finish straight here, and down into the big stopping zone at turn 1. And again, have your eyes on those mirrors and hope the car behind you gets their braking point right. It can be a very, very frustrating track, this one, in terms of the racing. As far as I'm concerned, it's got a big reputation for being very good for racing, but I can often find it very frustrating because people make so many silly moves into the big stopping zones. But regardless, we will certainly have as much fun as we possibly can at this combination. I think it will be fun, but yeah, as I said, I can find it frustrating. But yeah, we'll definitely be live streaming it a couple of times over the course of the week. Do join me for them if you can. It'd be great to see you in the chat. Say hello, please. If the guide has been useful in some way, shape or form, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.